The interest growing in Eagles quarterback Donovan Mcnabb, and both Jason La Canfora and Steve Wyche say the Raiders are taking the lead. Now, any team trading for Mcnabb, if they want to keep him for longer than one season, they're going to have to grant him a contract extension because he's a free agent at the end of 2010. Now, the Raiders, though, reportedly will not require an extension to get the deal done. Let's welcome in Steve Wyche. Steve, is there a scenario where Donovan Mcnabb has played his final game in Philadelphia?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we hear all the talk about the team possibly trading him, and it really caught fire on Wednesday at the NFL owners meeting when Coach Andy Reid openly admitted that they are fielding phone calls. Now, this is a team that does not typically discuss its business publicly. Even on the team's website, they link to newspaper articles and television reports about Donovan McNabb possibly being traded. So they're really broadcasting the possibilities of a deal being done. That said, it doesn't necessarily mean something will happen. The teams right now, as you mentioned, Fran, the Oakland Raiders seem to be taking the lead on this, in part because they're willing to make a deal without signing Donovan McNabb to a long-term contract. This deal is up at the end of next season, and most teams would want to get some assurance that if they gave up top compensation to get McNabb, they'd have him for a long time around. That apparently is why Buffalo is no longer keenly interested. However, as we saw with the Raiders and Richard Seymour, they made a similar deal, and they franchised Seymour to retain him to work on a long-term contract.
And you say people really shouldn't be surprised if we just look at the Eagles' track record over recent years.
Absolutely not. I mean, not even recent years. Let's say a calendar year. It started last year. They got rid of Brian Dawkins. Now, and they've got John Runyon is no longer on the team. Trey Thomas is gone. Brian Westbrook is gone. This is now a young Philadelphia Eagles team. Donovan McNabb and the kicker David Akers have both been there are both 11-year veterans. Most of the other players on the team are about 6 years in or less. So this is not a team in transition. This is a young team with Donovan McNabb and Akers being the veteran players. So even though McNabb is not technically old, look at Tom Brady, look at Peyton Manning, look at Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, he is by standards of the Eagles team. So if they decide to get rid of him and go with the younger Kevin Kolb, not a shock, seeing as what they've done with their roster over the past calendar year.
Let me take it one step further quickly. McNabb is due $6 million on May 5th. Do you see a scenario where they might just release him because they don't want to pay him that money?
I can't see that. I mean, I think they'd rather keep him and pay him the money that he's earned. It's still less than what he's scheduled to earn. It's still less than what most quarterbacks were scheduled to earn. I think they'd rather keep him and play him on a one-year deal than just cut